attorney.
Okay, welcome to the, I guess, short review. I'm just gonna go along with my notes here. You guys can quickly read them before I go through them, I guess, or just go along with me. But yeah, this is a rather, I guess, I mean, it is an old game, so I don't have too much to say, so I just compiled some things I thought could be fun, so yeah. I guess let's first go over some of my favorite things in the game. I compiled here a list of my favorite dungeons. I'm not sure if one of these even counts, that would being the Giant's Cave, but enemies spawn there, so yeah. I just listed them in order how they appear in the game itself. First off is Chaos Shrine. Its aesthetics are a bit lacking to my taste, but I like the enemy variation there, and obviously you have the final battle boss rush there, so that is infinite plus points towards it. Marsh Cave, I mean, it's a cave. It's a cave. One thing I like about it is its enemy types. It had a lot of poison enemies. Not everyone's favorite, but you know, it has a strong theme going on, and that was fun. Yeah. Cavern of Earth is probably my least favorite place overall. I mean, it's just another Earth cave thingy, and the enemy types are, I mean, they do have a theme as well, but I just don't like the constant, you know, getting paralyzed or stoned theme. It's kind of annoying. Like poisoning I can handle, but getting paralyzed or stoned is eh. Also, the boss gave me some trouble along the way. It was a bit hard for me, but you know, it's still I think the like its core theme is good, but I don't know. I guess that's kind of a separate thing. Giant's Cave is I mean, enemy types are just what basic enemies you can find in the overworld, so whatever. Aesthetics, I gave it higher than any of the ones above, is because I like the idea of just a giant blocking the way and not moving until it gets its treat, which is a giant ass gem. Like it eats shiny rocks. That's fun. Yeah, I like that. So for that reason alone, I gave it a bit of a higher score than it probably honestly deserved. It probably should be last place in both aesthetics and enemy types. Mount Bugul, love this place. Aesthetic wise, I only gave it 6th because, well, the other places were just, it had a lot of high competition, but you know, it's a volcano. Volcanoes are cool. I like the lava system there, and enemy types, so many cool looking enemies there, all the fire variations and whatnot. Plus, probably one of my favorite bosses is there. Yeah. Cavern of Ice, number 1 in aesthetics. It just looks beautiful, honestly. I mean, who doesn't like pixel art? But you know, even among pixel art, ice pixel art just works really well always. And yeah, there's no exception to that. Enemy types, I mean, there were some cool enemies there, but you know, mostly it's just it still scores higher than most other enemies here. But you know, it is what it is. Sunken Shrine, love me some underwater / air pocket shrine thing where you can just be that's just wonderful. Overall, it scores pretty high both on aesthetics and enemy type variation. Yeah. Waterfall Cavern, I wanted to give this one like the number 1 spot on aesthetics, but like the idea of a thing behind waterfall is very prevalent in today's fantasy games. but it's still such a cool idea, and the idea that there's just a super old mech robot guardian thing there just waiting for you is a really nice idea. So at the very end, that really worked for me. Enemy types, it's whatever, a bit below the average compared to the main, I guess, dungeons where the fiends were. Citadel of Trials, it's I mean, I think I gave it a little bit of a lower ranking than I wanted for aesthetics. It's like I really like the teleportation puzzle system, but other than that, it's like it was really whatever. Yeah, Mirage Tower. I like the overall circular theme it has going on, and obviously it's a spiral tower, so yeah, that works really well. But enemy types were whatever. I mean, we got some hard enemies there, but it is what it is. Wasn't too thrilled by the point I got there. However, Flying Fortress, probably my overall favorite area. I mean, you know, it's a fucking flying fortress. So many different enemies, so many cool looking places. And I love the idea of the you can just see the entire world from from there if you look through. Yeah. Also, you know, I think the enemy types wouldn't be as high if it wasn't for the final hidden enemy. That took me a while to find. Yeah. Okay, favorite boss battles. Let me just get it fully on screen. Yeah, so I just went through the kind of all the main bosses and then the kind of bosses. So this includes Garland, Astos, Vampire, and Evil Eye 2, and I guess Warmech. Yeah. So first, Garland. It's a guy in a night suit with a cool cape. Really nice. I mean, I do love my monster designs, but in a game where there are primarily monster designs as enemies, you have to appreciate the human enemy types. So yeah, big points for Garland for that. The fight itself, I mean, it was the first boss battle, and so it was very easy. I don't think you even need to level up any of your characters even once, even when you go fight him for the first time. So, you know, Astus, I mean, I liked the transformation idea, but overall it was just a green goblin ass looking thingy, kinda ugly. The fight was, I mean, it is what it is. I don't have too much to say about Astus. He hurled some spells. Yeah, that's about it. Vampire is the worst quote-unquote boss fight. I mean, it was the in the Cavern of Earth, the pre-boss fight, I guess. Yeah, you have to go fight the vampire, then go out, and then come back later. So yeah, it didn't do anything really there. It's just regular enemy setup as a semi-boss thing. Lich is out of the fiends my least favorite. I do like the design. It is very menacing, and I like the floating cape skull. He looks very imposing, so that's cool. Other than that, I hated fighting against his constant sleep and paralysis, and him hastening himself, slowing us so we don't do as much damage. It's just a really annoying fight. I want to put his aesthetics higher, but the others just happen to be higher, you know. I like it. I like the design a lot. It's just I like the other designs more that we are yeah, are coming up next. Yeah. Marilith. When I first got to Marilith, she, question mark? I'm not sure if it's a she, was my favorite design by far. Yeah, it's just I love it. I don't have anything crazy to say about it. I just really liked it, and I think this is the fight where I said this difficulty is perfect in this game for this game. Like the fight just clicked with me a lot. So well paced for my level at that point. Evil Eye is another regular enemy set up as a quote-unquote boss enemy in the in a Cavern of Ice when you go get the the floating thing. Yeah, so it's probably the worst fight. I do like the design though. I love the Evil Eye design, so it gets points for that. Kraken is out of the fiends, it's my third favorite, but it's still a cool. I mean, it's a cool location, and I like the fight a decent amount. The aesthetics are, I mean, you expect a Kraken, you get a Kraken. Yeah, I do like the purple coloring though. Warmech, the aesthetics. Okay, this is a caveat here. It says 5th there overall out of the bosses, but I do think it deserves higher credit. I just found it extremely goofy when I fought it because it reminded me of like a leapfrog or something. But it's still pretty imposing, and it's like the hardest enemy in the game. Maybe Chaos at the very end is harder, but you know, overall it does good things for me, and I like the nuke spell it has. that was really fun looking. The fight itself, as far as I know, Warmech doesn't have that many moves. It has like the nuke, the single target, and then it can flee, I think. That's about it. But just the fact that it has like something some move called nuke is really fun. Yeah. Tiamat is my. It's hard because I want to say Marilith is my favorite fiend, but at the same time Tiamat is Tiamat. So I think I like them equally, Marilith and Tiamat. Yeah, they are like a cut above the other two fiends for me. Yeah, aesthetics wise, Tiamat it looks really good. I love the pixel art for it, and the fight was really fun too. I mean, suitably hard for a, well, technically final boss, but you know, we have Chaos later. Yeah, so that was fun. But obviously the #1 spot for both aesthetics and the fight goes to Chaos, which is Garland, but you know, harder. Yeah, I love the transformation. I love the background space, entire universe theme behind us. Yeah, and it's just suitably difficult. Like nothing bad to say and only positives. Good job. Favorite class / job, I guess. Monk, White Mage, and Black Mage, I think, are all pretty equally tied. I like the fact that you can get really high damage with the Monk, but other than like, he is my favorite from the melee class, and then I guess I guess the Ninja would be the second. Yeah, but Monk is above the other two melees, and then out of the mages, it's hard to say because I really liked playing with the White Mage, and it was in my party for the first playthrough. But Black Mage's spells were so cool, so like, despite my short experience with the Black Mage, I think it's my overall favorite character type, class / job, I don't know. Yeah, just based on the well, initial design, I like the big hat, but then I also like the upgraded version with the hood halfway coming off. Looks really cool. Yeah, but the spells, the amount of types of spells the Black Mage can cast, they really do it for me. Favorite enemy designs are, well, honorable mentions goes to Gigasworm, Garland himself, Sahagin, then I guess all of the slime enemies. This includes, well, it's the same type, like enemy type, but they just change color. Yeah, Okra Jelly, Green Slime, the one enemy that is very tough to hit, but hits hard back. Yeah, all those enemies, like their designs. I like most of the boss designs, Marilith especially. Evil Eye is very goofy, but I like it. Golem, okay, the Golem, it's a rather simple design and it's just a Golem, but the way it poses, like, come on, it's a pure JoJo pose. Like, how can you not love that? Warmech is kinda goofy, but I love it as well. And then Tiamat and Chaos, obviously. Yeah, but I think my favorite enemy design is Big Eyes. Like, there's just something about floating giant eyeball with a secondary eyeball next to it, like, that just does it for me. Yeah, big fan and hope that design returns in some form in some game. Favorite spell, this is mostly Black Mage sweeping the board, but I will give the White Mage one benefit, which is the Hilaga spell that heals the entire party. It's the strongest one, so good going there. But yeah, the other honorable mentions would be Saber, which had a cool self-buff moment or aura animation. Quake, I mean, it was just a whomp, nice animation. Scourge, I like the effect, and yeah, cool poison effect, but obviously Warp is the best looking one. It just creates a giant swirling circle beneath you and just woof, enemies are gone. Love that. How can you not love that? Yeah. And then I guess positives and negatives about the game. Can I get all of it on the screen? Yeah. Positives and negatives about this game. Basically, this is my main bulk of thoughts about the game beyond just what is my favorite or least favorite design. Yeah, okay. The big pixel art is lovely. It works. It has always worked. It will keep continuing to work. Yeah, love that. Great music. There's like I don't think there are many tracks that really stand out, but none that are like bad. Like whenever there is a track that track that starts playing, you're always like, yup, I know this track. So good stuff there. Yeah, like I said here, the definition of classic. And then in quotes, I literally keep making the do in my head, like whenever something happens in my life. I think I knew that even before starting this game, and it's yeah, only gotten more prevalent as I played through the game more and more. Unexpectedly fun plot conclusion towards the end. It made it go from a simple old game, doesn't need any complex story, to oh wow, that's actually really cool. Yeah, always love me a good time travel plot twist with like recursion with looping story. Yeah, very fun. And the fact that I called that it was Garland I like that. Silly NPC comments here and there, and I hope we get to see more of that kind of stuff in the future. Yeah. And I also liked some of the world comments, like here lies Link in Elfheim, and then the all of the whales saying you're dirty. That was fun. I hope that kind of humor continues. There's nothing more to this one. The airship, it's goated. It's goated. I really hope this kind of transportation mode comes up in the in future games. It just it made the game go from like, okay, there's no fast travel, I need to go and I need to fight encounters, but to like, oh my god, I can just go from one end of the map to the other in like a flash. So good, so good. Yeah. One other positive is obviously that it's a short game, but you know, that's also a tag that people like to search. Short and sweet. Yeah. I think the expected average playtime is like around 10 hours. Obviously, it took me like 20 to 30 hours, but you know, nothing wrong with a short and sweet game. Yeah. Good compact experience. Yeah. I briefly touched on this next point, but very good difficulty curve. It doesn't require too much grinding, but it isn't exactly free either. Yeah. So, for example, within the Marileth boss fight, I just felt like the difficulty was perfect. I was like, it's not too easy, but I feel I can do it if I strategize a little bit. And then exactly with the final boss rush in the Chaos Shrine at the end, it's like, yeah, it tested my mettle a bit, but I was able to push through, and that was really fun. Yeah, I like that. And then, big fan of the two hidden things in the game. The 15 minigame, where you have to get the 15 in order, but there's one extra slot there, so you can like go through them and switch their positions. And then the quote-unquote hidden enemy in Flying Fortress. Yeah. I love those kinds of things, and I hope the future games will have more secrets like that. Yeah, always love me some Easter eggs in games. And I liked how many things fell into the space of, quote, I wonder if this works like this, end quote. And then it working exactly like I thought. It's very satisfying to spend, you know, a little brain power thinking and then actually being proven right. Yeah, sometimes simple is good. Yeah. Or not exactly simple, but you know. So it isn't completely out of left field. So like it feels like this should work, and then it works. Yeah. And then onto the negatives. These are mostly nitpicks, so please forgive me. I don't have much negative to say about this game. Yeah. But let's still go through them. It's not fair to only give positives and no negatives at all. It's a pretty old and maybe a bit too simple of a game by modern standards, or my modern standards. Like, I recognize it sets a great standard, but I personally would love to have just more meat to the game. Yeah. At times it's difficult to figure out exactly what to do, like what order should I do things in, where should I go next, what is my next objective. I spent a couple hours in my playthrough wondering about those things. Like here I mentioned, I missed the caravan by 1 pixel, and I spent like an hour searching for it, going through every single pixel before accidentally stumbling upon it. And I could have never figured also out the where the hidden enemy was going to appear, especially with its spawn rate of, I think in the NES version it's 1 in 64, so like you have I mean, yeah. And in this pixel remake it's like 1 in 100. Yeah, kinda rough. So yeah, what, like, then beyond those, it's also like those what to do with the enemies or places, like some of the stats, like what do some of the stats even do, like agility, luck, intellect, and like what's the difference between strength and attack. I mean, you can guess what they do, but without any outside help, it can be hard to guess or pinpoint exactly, like, yep, this is exactly what this does. Like you can guess that luck would help you maybe hitting more, but maybe agility helps you hit more, or maybe agility helps you dodge more. I don't know. Intellect might be related to magic, but how? I don't know. And then finally, low-level encounters that take multiple rounds of combat to defeat just waste time. Yeah. Obviously, if your party includes a red mage or a black mage, you can probably one-turn the encounter, but, you know, with warriors and monks and thieves, it can be a bit tedious, like my first party. Obviously, the game does have the quality of life feature to turn encounters off, but I don't personally like using it on the first playthrough, so it can take, yeah. I think you guys saw in my playthrough many times when I would just flee the encounter instead of going through 3 rounds of combat just to save time. It is what it is. Obviously not a big thing, and I can handle this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then overall feelings. Short summary of my thoughts, I guess. I liked the game way more than I expected. I mean, I went in with the idea that it was an old short game with nothing but classic and by modern standards, you know, outdated ideas. And while those old ideas were still present, it still had exciting things to offer, so that was a good surprise. Biggest surprises were some monster designs, yeah, and the plot at the very end. Those were my 2 unexpected favorite things going in. And then I went in expecting classic good music, and it delivered on that end, so good job there. I was expecting more grinding, but it was fairly light. It was fairly light on that front, so good job there. And I was super drawn into the lore and like the world building and the monsters, and I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for any nods towards this game's stuff in future entries. Yeah, not sure if, like, I still don't know if this is like a closed loop kind of a game, or if the future entries take from this and continue to grow and evolve. We'll see. If this is its own thing and the next games don't follow anything from this, I would still hope that at least in some future entries they would at least give a slight nod towards this game. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier already, most of my negative thoughts earlier were just nitpicks, and in general I didn't have a problem with them enough to sour my experience. I am very tolerant and can handle that kind of stuff a lot more than what this game had. Yeah. And yeah, what to expect next? Let me take a sip. The last bit here, I guess, which isn't really about stuff about the game itself. It's what's next? There's gonna be a short break between this and the beginning of Final Fantasy II. I previously have already mentioned this in other places, that this game was a Patreon choice, and they have selected a different game to replace Final Fantasy I. I mean, they have the final say in this slot, and I will respect their decision, so it is what it is. However, I did feel bad about cliffhangering anyone for possibly more than a year until I am done with the other game series they chose, Borderlands. So I decided on my own to add Final Fantasy as a permanent slot on the channel. So that should be hype whenever we get to it. Yeah, here's the 2 things that must happen before Final Fantasy returns on the channel. 1. Wait for the construction workers to finish their work. So my flat has been going through full renovations for like the past 6 months, and basically I can't record at all when the construction workers are active. Their drilling sound is horribly loud, and I can't really do anything about it. Yeah. Luckily, they are ahead of their schedule, and their expected finish time of somewhere by the end of November seems to have been moved closer towards now. So I wager they will take anywhere from 2 weeks to a month more, maybe. So yeah, the first condition should be filled out fairly soon, but the second one might take a bit longer. Yeah, number 2. I want to finish some other games on my channel before coming back to Final Fantasy. I think I currently have too many ongoing games on the channel. I have like 11 concurrent games plus Genshin Impact whenever I have time to record it, which, to be frank, is way too much. I have decided that I want to finish at least 2 games on the channel before continuing on with more Final Fantasy, you know, just for the sake of getting some stuff off the plate, so I'm not as like bogged down with having to record so many other things at the same time. Yeah, luckily I'm decently far into some games, and with a quick estimate I bet I can finish both Beneath the Cherry Blossom Tree and Fate Hollow Ataraxia, and maybe even The House in Fata Morgana. These are all games on my channel within this year, so that should be cool. So basically, I think me coming back to Final Fantasy is going to happen in roughly 2 to 3 months, but could be faster. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I am very excited to eventually dive back into this monstrously long franchise and see its evolution. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, this game on its own has been very fun, but one of the most intriguing things about this game franchise for me personally is to see the evolution from this first game to the latest entry in the franchise. Like, how are we gonna evolve the art style, the storytelling? How does the are we gonna stay full fantasy, or is it gonna become a, how many more different types of genres are we gonna attach to it, and all that cool stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically it. I don't know if I want to give this game a rating. I mean, it's an old game. It was a cool game. I don't have any problems with it. But I'm sure future games in this franchise will easily topple whatever this game had to offer. So yeah, I'm gonna just give it a good old thumbs up and say I really enjoyed it more than I expected. Yeah, cool. I guess I'll see you whenever I see you by the end of this year again, maybe? I don't know. Cool. See ya.